Hello out there. Welcome to microbiology, the hybrid form of microbiology at Mount Hood. My name is Valerie. I'm going to be your instructor. You'll know me from labs, but also through the computer when you turn in your work and I'm giving you feedback. I'm kind of the only instructor that you'll have for this course. I just kind of wanted to take a minute to welcome you because I'm super excited about this school year. It feels really great to be back to normal on campus. I just kind of wanted to talk about the schedule, what to expect in terms of attendance policy, how we're going to use Blackboard, what the labs will be like, what we're going to do in the labs, a little bit about the textbook, and then I want to explain my office hours really fast. But first, let me just wholeheartedly say I'm really glad you're here. It feels really good to be back in like normal school, right? Okay, let me talk a little bit about the schedule because it can be a little bit confusing for micro. In terms of the schedule, we have lab twice a week. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we meet for lab for 80 minutes each day. That's kind of like a big fat science lab cut in half. The reason that we meet twice a week is that bacteria usually take 48 hours to grow. So we'll start to grow them on one day, and then we will experiment on them or do stains or something like that on the second day of lab. So both days are actually really critical, and I want you to come for both of those lab sessions every week. However, I know that we're still dealing with COVID, even though the scary part of the pandemic is over, and we have people surviving it is kind of like mild and everything. I do want you to stay home if you are sick from COVID or the flu or who cares, whatever. I don't even care. Maybe you just need a mental health day. You can miss 1 week of class, just no problem. No problem at all. I'll allow you to make that stuff up online. Won't affect your grade whatsoever. If you miss a second week of class, that will kind of have a grading penalty. And that's just because you're missing things, and it's important that there's a good reason and structure to come to class. If you miss more than 3 weeks of class, you will not pass the lab, unfortunately. And because of the nature of micro, we grow these microbes at a very specific time. If they're not available, there's no way we can do any kind of makeup in person. It's just they're sort of special little delicate organisms, and sometimes they die, and then we can't do anything about that. So makeups are a problem in this class. So I understand about, getting sick, no problem. I think 1 week is all we should ever need at this point. I'll work with you if you just let me know. We'll get through this together. Who knows what this fall is going to be like. I will change my policies if I think that is important, but please plan on coming to campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:30 to noon, and we'll do some micro together. Now, the lecture portion of this class, like where I'll present to you topics in microbiology from, what is it, to the history, different types of microorganisms, to the epidemiology, pathogenicity, and then all the diseases, that will be presented to you in Blackboard, just like an online class. Also, you will be using Blackboard to submit all of your assignments and take exams. That gives you the maximum flexibility. You can take your time on things, you can take breaks, you can use your notes, you can do it up until Sunday at midnight if weekends work better for you. It gives you a little bit of flexibility, but with the labs on campus, I think this will be a really good combination because we'll still have all the fun times together in the lab. You'll have access to me and all of our facility and all of our resources. But then you can do the rest of this class at your own pace. In terms of our physical location, the laboratory for microbiology is 1702, which is just below the dental hygiene clinic, if you're familiar with the campus. So kind of on the north end, near the end of the campus that's facing the Early Childhood Development Center. It's just on the lower deck. There's a door. I'll have it open. Come on in. I'll see you on Tuesday. In terms of the textbook, I always get a lot of questions about this. The questions I get a lot about the textbook is it really free? Yes, it is really free. It is available for download. You can save it as a PDF. You can view it as a website. You can just access it chapter by chapter through OpenStax Microbiology. And I would actually really recommend that you try the free electronic version first. And there's a couple reasons why I think it's better. First, it's really easy to search for things. If you want to look for E. coli, you can just type in E. coli into the search bar and it will find every mention of E. coli, and it really helps you narrow down what you're looking for, which is super powerful, and you don't get that in a textbook that's made on paper. The other thing that's really advantageous about the ebook is that it is updated. So a physical paper textbook that you would get online, it might be a year old, it might be 3 years old. Things change in microbiology. It really is a science that is spur of the moment. If you think about the last 2 years with COVID and vaccines and everything, what we were saying 2 years ago is really different than what we're saying about COVID now. So that's very helpful when you have an ebook and you can just update that. The paper book is that's not an option. So I would highly recommend that you start by trying out the ebook and see what you think. I actually really like it. All right, I did want to talk about my office hours. My office is located in the science division, kind of halfway in the hallway between math and science. It's 2569. I am here on campus this term. I will be here for you. I'm also available virtually. So if I'm not in class, I have email. It goes to my phone, so I will check that and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. So if email is what you prefer, do it. I'm not one of those teachers that likes to sit on email. I like to respond right away, including the weekends. I just find it very handy, especially because it's an online class too, and you don't want to get stuck on the weekend and then waste a whole weekend. So I'm always available via email. I will have office hours in the lab right before class starts. So for you guys, that'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 10:30. If that works for you, great. We can just take care of business in the lab room, no problem. If that time doesn't work for you, I have some other office hours. I'll be there Monday and Wednesday in the lab from 12:30 to 1. That is like the half hour before my Monday, Wednesday microbiology class. Or you can just set up an appointment with me. If you want to come off times, just send me an email. I'll send you a time and we can find a place, time, no problem. I do want to ask a personal favor, which is that if you need to find me in my office, I will be wearing a mask. I would ask that if you want to come into my office, that you also wear a mask, because I just finished cancer treatments. Some of you know this. I'm doing okay, but I don't have a really full immune system yet. So just to be in this space, wear a mask. If you do not want to wear a mask, that's totally fine. I will meet you in the lobby or the lab or wherever else is agreeable to you. I will meet you wherever. So just as a personal favor, I would really appreciate that, just until I know that my white blood cells are normal and that if I am exposed to COVID, one of the bigger predictors of long COVID or severe COVID, like the ventilator kind of still people dying of COVID, is compromised white blood cells. So I'm just kind of taking it a little bit cautious as I come back to campus. So I know I would be really grateful. And I'll be wearing a mask in lab in case you're wondering why, and why I have this snazzy short hair. That is the reason why. But first of all, just welcome to Micro. Welcome back. I'm so excited that you're here. I think we're going to have a really fun year. It's going to be a fun class. It's going to go by really, really fast. And I'm really here to help you enjoy Micro and have a good term.